Hello again, this is Jeff Hanna doing another recording here. This one here is for the Blair stereo analysis. So where we're looking at a couple of oblique lateral x-rays, but at different angles. Now, most of the tools for doing this, they're already in the software. So this might be more demonstrative, but maybe also adding an additional line and feature. So what a lot of docs have is different systems where they will take, and I'm just going to make the assumption here for a second, that this is, they'll take, let me back up a little bit here. When we're taking the stereolaterals, we need, it's a total of 4 pictures. We need 2 x-rays for a left stereo and 2 x-rays for the right stereo. So for the left stereo, we need one with a left shift, one with a right shift, and for the right stereo, we need one with a left shift and one with a right shift. And so what we do is we ultimately need to put these 2 x-rays exactly side by side so that we can look at them straight across, and then what we use is a Pocoscope, which is one of those little stereo 3D viewers, and what happens is the 2 images will converge onto the screen and you get a nice looking 3-dimensional object. Now, it would be delightful if there was a way of merging that so that it just happens automatically on the screen and you don't need any fancy glasses. I don't know if anything like that actually exists, but nevertheless is pretty cool something or other. Now, the thing that I wanted to mention here, and again, this might be more for the Blair docs, is that when we're doing the stereo analysis, it is easiest when we can get the spine as close as possible to the margins of the view. So as we know, when we're looking at stereo images, we need the right shift on the left side and we need the left shift on the right side. And so if this was, for example, a left, or let me say we're looking at the x-ray from, this is the right shift and then this one here is the left shift, that if we're looking at the right shift, we want to make sure that this is the end of the x-ray right here. And if it was a left shift, we try to get it as close to the spine right up through here so that when we put the 2 images side by side, it's very easy to see. Now, when I do my stereos, I will always, I will have normal collimation for doing it like a standard x-ray, but then what I do is I will cut the image prior to entering VizTech. And the critical thing is making sure that the bottom of the collimation field is exactly the same on both sides. Otherwise it gets a little bit messy. So let me just zoom down to show you exactly what I mean to the actual, to the true stereos that I've taken. Maybe, if the x-ray is going to communicate properly. Okay, good. So for any of the Blair docs who are looking at this, part of it's just how I've learned to do x-rays. When I have my left stereos, the patient is facing the right, and when I do right stereos, patient's actually facing the left. So if you can forgive me of that, but nevertheless, everything is properly marked here. So this example would be of a left stereo with the right shift, and as you can see, I have already not collimated, I have already cut and cropped the x-ray image to take out all of that. Now, there are other ways of doing it using the VizTech software, but it is much easier at the present to do it before you actually use VizTech. The next image, this is the left stereo with the left shift. So as you can see, I have cut as close to the spine as I could get without clipping the facets, and I've got a good healthy lateral, so I don't mind losing the tip of the spinous process, as long as you can see all of the articular pillars through here. And then what I have next is, we've got the right stereo. This is the right shift, so again, because it's going to be on our viewing right, clipping it here, and then we lastly have the right stereo with the left shift. It'll be on the left, so it's going to be sitting as close as possible to here. So here is how you guys put together the stereo series using VizTech. You use this tool here, X-ray stitching. And what you do is you have your list of all of the X-ray images down here at the bottom, and what you do is you grab one, you drag it up, and then you grab Your next one, which is right here, boom. Now, this is not how we look at stereos, of course. So what we need to do is we need to move this image to the right. And so that's what this tool here, jump right, does. Boom. So the two images, you can now see this is the pre-construct for the stereos. Now, if you did not take the effort to make sure that these bottom lines were properly lined up, it's possible that your X-ray will come out like this. In which case, when you're looking at the stereo, it's not going to come out right. In which case, you have to grab this and manually move it until it appears, like if you're looking at the posterior tubercle, the C2 spinous, the acoustic meatus, that all of that's plus or minus about the same height. So again, it's much worth the effort just making sure that the bottom is also lined up properly here. Then what you do, you hit the magic button, stitch. We'll just here, because these are left stereos, I'm just going to go SL, so stereo left, hit stitch. And what it does is it stitches them into one DICOM file. So two images into one. Might take several minutes. On my proper computer, it takes but a sliver of the time. This one here, it's because I'm doing on a remote server. I should have just left it alone. I have no idea how long this is actually going to take. So we're just going to cancel that. But what it'll do is it'll stitch the images together. And what it does is it creates, as I said, one DICOM picture that looks exactly like this. And with this picture now, you can zoom in as a, whoops, uh-oh, it froze. Okay, we're about to lose it, but we're just going to do the talk through here. So sorry about that. This is why I use a Mac and why I hate using Internet Explorer and Windows. I'm going to give it another shot here, though, see if I can reopen this patient here. But the point of what I was saying is you can zoom into this whole image as one unit. You can zoom out. And you can now do all of your annotations. You can flip to invert your whites and your blacks, no problem. And you can also then save it and put it on your own computer as one image. And then what you just simply need is you need the Pocoscope or the 3D stereoscopic viewers. You don't need the view box, just the little glasses, and you can look at the screen and you will know exactly what you have to do. Some of you might be wondering, what is this view here? This is called an A to P lumbar. Not an official part of the Blair series. You can accuse me of mixing if you want, but for this lady I had to rule out the question of a structurally short leg. Okay, so again, here was the example of the stereos. So just to show you again here, what we can now do is we zoom in at exactly the same point on the left side and on the right side, which is fantastic. The closer, again, that you have the spine to the actual split here, the easier it is to see the stereo image. If you had the spine, it was all the way here, and then the other spot was all the way here, you have to step back really, really far in order to actually, looking through the glasses, have the two images converge as you're supposed to. Contrast-wise, see, they now both get sharp at the exact same time, using the contrast enhance here. And then we can use the horizontal line to create the measurements as we are measuring the facet articulations, if and wherever we should see and find the slip. And so we can do this on both of the images. So at present, all the tools are already in VizTech for doing a stereo analysis. The question is, did you know that these tools were actually here, or if there's a way to optimize it, better yet.